Demos were once the way we all came across games, whether bundled with another game from the same developer or shoved inside a gaming magazine for us to find. Demos were a major discovery method as the gaming industry grew from its infancy. But sadly, demos fell out of favor, and as gaming distribution adapted to the new millennium, there was just less need for demos. Influencer and YouTube marketing became such an effective proof of concept for showing off your product, demos just became a rare marketing tool. But in 2025, more games with demos were released on Steam than ever before. Over 20% of games last year had a demo. A total shift has happened in the last few years. Have developers returned to base principles when it comes to marketing and discovery? Let's explore. First, a broad overview of the data. Before 2020, the percentage of games with a demo on Steam hovered at 5 to 6%. Going back even further, even lower than that. However, starting in 2020, that number started to noticeably grow. The surge in 2020 is likely to bring COVID to mind. People indoors play more video games and the market just responds. I think this is a fairly straightforward attribution, with some potential nuance. But why is the percentage of games with demos growing faster every year ever since? It must be more than a temporary shift in habits. Take note that the ratio of games with demos has been accelerating each year, with the biggest jumps happening in the past 3. More games than ever before were released on Steam in 2025, and almost 25% of those came with a demo. To put that into perspective, there was nearly twice as many free demos available on Steam in 2025 than total games released on the platform in 2015. There are a lot of free demos on Steam right now. Let's consider how that happened. So Steam's wishlist feature isn't new. Having launched in 2010, we can see there's no major spike in demos associated with it. But if you understand how discovery happens on Steam, the existence of the wishlist feature is undeniably an integral part of how demos have become popular again. Developers live and die by their wishlists. Wishlist numbers can in most cases accurately predict sales because wishlists are just a list of consumers saying they're interested and want updates. What's the easiest way to convince someone to be excited for the release of the game? Let them play part of the game. This isn't a radical idea. But sometime in the past 5 years, something has changed. Another feature has been added by Valve that makes demos even more effective at gaining wishlists. In 2021, Steam introduced NextFest, and discovery has exploded for games with demos ever since. If you're unfamiliar, Steam NextFest is a week-long discovery event for upcoming games that has been happening for up to 4 times a year since 2021. The number one requirement for being part of that event? Your game has to have a demo. You'll immediately see the catalyst for what we're looking at today. Steam NextFest starts with pretty awesome democratic discovery. The first 48 hours, games are shown to users both equally and randomly. And by day 3, engagement algorithms kick in, so most popular games rise to the top. Valve gave developers incredible incentive to produce high-quality demos for their games, and it's working. This is why NextFest has become one of my personal favorite industry additions in a long time. The result of the program is developers have yet another discovery channel opened up to them, and gamers get to actually try games before they buy them. People have often cited early access as the reason demos lost popularity. However, early access is not a discovery tool, which is why it ultimately cannot replace demos. In a lot of ways, early access was viewed as a replacement to demos in some people's eyes because it allowed developers to expose gamers to a not quite finished product, which short demos sometimes historically filled the role of. But really, the use case of early access is more analogous to a beta test. This has been covered numerous times before. The user is still paying for the game, it's just with the understanding that things will change and need further development. Early access didn't replace the discovery benefit of demos because demos have no barrier to introducing a game to consumers. That is their biggest strength, their immediate proof of concept with no risk to the consumer. Early access allows developers to list their game earlier, but it does almost nothing for actual discovery. If anything, by the numbers, early access will harm the first week sales of your 1.0 release because people see it as just another patch. Let me know if you think there's another reason at play for why demos have made such a big comeback. Have you noticed more demos when browsing? Have you been playing more demos as a result? I'm really curious, and as always, thanks for watching, guys.